So I've been watching all the tons of reviews on Highguard, and all I can say is that the game has received some top tier negativity, but it's not without reason. The first thing we've noticed is that the game is absolutely tanking right now, with a great side dish of cope, paid reviewers calling the game really fun, when it just seems outright boring. Not to mention the strange amount of journalists pouring in with their vague feedback. Highguard isn't just about blasting stuff with guns, though that is a lot of fun. The wardens on your team can either steal the spotlight or accidentally run into walls. Each one has a set of abilities that make them good at different things. Sneaking around, smashing objectives, protecting teammates, or just making everyone panic. Picking the right mix can turn a raid into a smooth victory or a complete dumpster fire. This guide breaks down the core, or roster, into S, A, and B tiers and shows which wardens consistently shine. Think of it as a cheat sheet for keeping your team alive and your enemies very annoyed. There's not really much from there, and she doesn't really give much more feedback other than the two small lines of vague reviews. As you can see, there's just not much in the article except the explaining of characters and classes and what their abilities are. But yeah, that's just about it. There's not even a mention of the strange mining mechanics that the game has to offer. Not that I'm mocking the game for having a mining mechanic, but it's questionable if a mechanic like this is suited for the pace of the type of genre that it serves.
Well, in fact, let me see, who is this guy on Twitter? I want to see what his Twitter is. What a little bitch! Oh my god, can you believe this? Who is this guy? Who's this little bitch? Wow. Protected? I know, guys. Isn't it sad?
Yeah. So despite all the game journalists coping and pushing for the game to be fun, there were a few that mentioned that the negative reviews pouring in was the result of right-wing gamers roasting its content.
And more than that, they want them to fail. They approach the prospect with a sort of knives out glee. Well, no.
It's pretty funny, if not entertaining, that journalists perceive this entire campaign of Highguard's release to be influenced by political rhetoric. The fact that they think the majority of gamers are right-wingers using their negative reviews to bomb the game into oblivion.
Stop! You violated the law.
But in actual fact, most of the reviews concerned around the game are about lazy optimization, forgettable characters, not to mention the female characters have no boobs.
Women like women? Yes, exactly. Yes, it has it. What the fuck? I looked at it. None of them have big tits. Not a single one. You know what that is? That's called a marketing error.
The argument goes to show that ugly female characters presents a very idealized narrative in the gaming industry. This points to a more DEI initiative of diversity, equity, and inclusion in today's games. But despite the focus on diverse marketing, the game is still leaning towards male gamers. We all acknowledge that Highguard was made for everyone, but male gamers still dominate the FPS genre.
For the fuck's sake, learn from this. This isn't a hate campaign. It's not a culture war. It's just not a good game. People need to understand one thing. You can call it a hate campaign. You can call it a culture war. And fuck, you can be right. And you know what that changes? Nothing. Because at the end of the day, you're still going to be carrying your shit out of a box, out of your fucking studio when you go out of business. So you can say, oh, the gamers are so bad. Oh, they're so mean. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? If you don't want to meet the audience, then go somewhere else.
On hearing about the game's overwhelmingly negative reviews, I decided to glaze over some of the thoughts and feedback from most of the players. To my surprise, it was mostly about the game being boring, and that the devs still needed a significant amount of work on the game. The music being awful, along with the forgettable characters and its weird lore.
God. Well, there it is, guys. I don't even know what else to say. Highguard is pretty fun. Shut up. Oh, yeah. Let's listen to a girl's opinion about a video game. Yeah, right.
But anyway, this concludes today's video on Highguard. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. And if you have any thoughts regarding Highguard's state, let me know down in the comments below. I hope you all have a fantastic, lovely day. And remember to keep it real. Bye.